In the early 50s, there was a place called Sophia Town in South Africa where people of color used to live together. Black, white, Indians, Chinese in the same area in the south of the north of Johannesburg. So it was called Sophia Town. During the apartheid era, the regime didn't like people living together because they were threatened that they will form against them and topple their little government. So they decided to build townships, first remove people. So some people were from Sophia Town, they were first removed to Meadowlands, and this song was born by then. This song simply says, doesn't matter even if they can separate us and break us, but they will never break our spirit, will still be the family. It goes like this.
We're here in Cape Town. We're just on the ferry to Robben Island, and we're going to go and have a look at Nelson Mandela's cell. We're in Cape Town for a few days, and yesterday we were in the townships. We spent the afternoon having a look around, and I think it's quite shocking the contrast. If you look at the waterfront here, fabulous architecture, to the corrugated iron huts that we saw yesterday. And we were lucky enough yesterday to go into one of the old boarding houses, and I think we were quite shocked at the conditions that we saw there. And I know for me, certainly, the smell will stick with me.
Hi, I'm Kieran Norris. I'm a Parliamentary Outreach Officer, and I've come on the ACTSA tour, and today we're going to Robben Island, which was Nelson Mandela's place of imprisonment for 18 years. And it should be a really interesting tour. I mean, as you can see, the ferry is full of people who go over as often as they can to try and learn a bit more of the guy they called 4664. Spent 18 years there. A lot of it was in solitary, and it really shaped the guy who's probably widely held now as the most beloved statesman in the world.
We're here to learn about some of the history of apartheid and the impact that it has on South Africa and its context today. The delegation is very much about bringing youth and student, young leaders from Britain to South Africa to give them that background and context and make sure they turn into almost ambassadors for South and Southern Africa and are able to take some of the things that ACTSA campaigns for justice, rights, democracy in Southern Africa forward within a UK context.
I'm David Taylor, I'm Chair of the Labour Campaign for International Development. It was a real honour to meet Dennis Goldberg yesterday. He spent so many years behind jail as part of the anti-apartheid struggle. But what was really great was the fact that he was looking to the future and the challenges facing South Africa now. From my perspective, I'm very interested in the issue of trade justice, and it was interesting to hear him talk about the role of the WTO and the unfair trade rules affecting South Africa and the limitations that has on their ability to have fair workers' rights and increase employment and stop wealth being drained from the country. So it was interesting to hear his perspective on that.
We're here with the Swaziland Cell project in Swaziland, and we're spending lunchtime at the feeding station where they provide food to local children. A lot of these children are orphans and they stay with extended family in the area, so a lot of the children are suffering from HIV and AIDS as well.
Do the companies not have any of their own standards or inspection, or so the American companies that
they do.
Fires.
They do. That is why when I say Adidas is trying to place an order here,
Yeah.
but it has come with strict rules. So she's checking this, checking that, checking this, and all this. That's why they have then now approached us to say, please, can you do something, cool down your issues, because we are hunting for this Adidas order. But they are not formally saying this, they just say, we would be getting this order, but the unions are threatening with strikes and so forth, and the buyers are now not sure whether to proceed and place the orders or to wait and see what these strikes are coming with.
Here in Johannesburg, after 3 days in Swaziland, we've arrived in this big city of around 12 million people, and we're spending the day going around the city, and later we'll be going to Soweto and Soccer City.
So we're in Soweto, in Johannesburg. What's your first impression, especially?
Well, to be honest, I've heard a lot of horror stories about Johannesburg, and because we arrived last night late at night and in the dark, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. But today, on second thoughts, in the lovely sunshine, I think it's probably like any other city. There's places to go, places not to go, and as long as we keep our wits about us, I think we'll be fine. How about you?
Well, I'm really excited to go on this Soweto tour because I was so shocked when I heard about 4 million people live here, and you can see, well, you probably can't see it, you can't get the whole picture, but through travelling around it you can see the vast expanse and how just enormous the area is. So it'll be really interesting to see the different ways of life in it. But my first impressions of Joburg were actually that it's just incredibly vibrant. There's a lot of life, a lot of character. Yeah, it might be that it's pretty dangerous, but I suppose there's parts of any city you are, like you said. Yeah, and so I'm really excited about we're getting to spend about 5 days here. It's going to be good.
Welcome to Soweto.
Standing at the Hector Peterson Memorial, right in the heart of Soweto. This is the memorial that commemorates all those young people who died, the thousands of young people who died in the Soweto uprisings of 1976. Children who stood up against the apartheid regime and their attempts to impose the Bantu education system on children across the country.
We're at the Apartheid Museum. We've just done the tour, which took an awful long time because there's an awful lot to actually take in. Found it very inspirational, and it was really good for also learning, for us to be able to learn about the background to apartheid, and really get a sense of what it was like for those people, and also trying to understand a bit more about the motivations for apartheid as well. It's been a very inspirational and emotional tour today, but I'm definitely glad that we've managed to experience this together as well. So. Yeah, it's quite emotional, but it's a really, really powerful experience. I'm very grateful to have the opportunity as well to come today.
We're at the Olive Leaf Foundation, where we've just seen a workshop on gender equality and sexual health, and it's really interesting actually seeing them discussing some of the attitudes towards women, their role in family and sex, and some of the education that they're doing to try and make sure that gender equality and sexual violence is eradicated in communities here.
I gum
mnandi kumnandi welakithe South Africa.